Good Sunday morning. Welcome to another week on the road. I have just packed up camp here and I'm real close to Ignace. I didn't get far out, maybe a half kilometer. So I'm going to head back into town and see if I can't grab a coffee, and then I'm going to be on the road. So welcome along. Thanks for joining me, and let's have another good week. It's finally getting green, eh? It's wonderful. All right, so back on the road again, and I got nothing for 3 days until I get to Dryden. It's all open road, no towns, no services, just me and my little brain thinking for 3 days. You know, I've got between 3 and 4 weeks left in the forest here before I'm on the prairie. And just this morning, black flies are starting to get really irritating. So I'm gonna have some fun for the next month or so. And then it's mosquitoes. Yay. You know, I shouldn't discount the kindness of strangers when they offer me rides, because I get at least one offer a day, sometimes multiple. I mean, I've only been on the road for an hour or so, and I've already had 2 offers. And I'm not hitching. I'm on the left side of the road. I'm facing traffic. So people go out of their way, pull over, and offer me a ride. And I mean, they're pulling over just from what they see from behind. So yeah, it's great. It's wonderful to have these little small random acts of kindness from people. And sometimes I'm tempted to hop in the car just to have some conversation, and it would be fascinating, but I want to walk. I don't want to ride across town or across country. I did say I was going to talk a lot less about my distance and speed and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I really haven't been paying that close attention. I have to check once in a while, you know, to plan for food and that sort of thing. But I do get curious once in a while, and I was curious this morning. So I looked up the distance that I covered over the past 3 days from the other side of Uppsala, where I had camped, and then into Ignace. And even with the ride that I got, that short ride that I got yesterday from the OPP, I still managed to walk 117K in 3 days. So I'm doing well, you know, and I'm feeling good. I'm tired at the end of the day, just like I've always been, but the next day I get up and I'm fine. So cranking them out. You know, maybe when I'm on the prairies, I'm going to be doing more than 40 a day average, which is fantastic, I guess. I have to make a correction to my previous claim of walking 5 kilometers an hour, or yeah, an hour. And in the past, when I've walked long trips like this, that's been the case, but I've had much lighter pack, and you know, the terrain was different, all that kind of stuff. So honestly, nowadays, and probably for the past 2 months, I'm walking about 4.25, like 4.25 kilometers per hour, and that's a comfortable pace for me. I'm usually out on the road, you know, between 12 and 14 hours, but of that I'm only walking, you know, 8 or 10. So yeah, that's a correction to my previous claim. Not that I was trying to mislead anybody or anything like that, but. And I just wanted to mention too that on Sunday morning, from Sylvia's house in Thunder Bay to where I camped last night, Saturday night, in Ignace, was 247 kilometers. So, if you're curious. It's going to come down hard, so hopefully it's short-lived. Yeah, so thank God it was short-lived, but it sure came down hard. Everything's wet, and there was a big lightning and thunder show. So yeah, that's my Sunday. All right, that's my Sunday. I'm already tucked into my tent here. Rainstorm today. Other than that, it was just a long, dull walk, and a ton of black flies. So I'm into the season for sure. We'll see if they drive me nuts or not, but I'm wiped. I'm gonna crash hard here, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Good Monday morning. So I had a nice sleep last night in this picnic area. It was just me and that lady that was driving away in her pickup truck. She was camped away from me. Yeah, quiet little place. Even though it's close to the highway, it was quiet overnight. And I've got some picnic tables, so I'm going to make a little bit of coffee here while I can. And there's a stream right here, so I've got fresh water. So looking forward to a good day. So a very foggy day today. It rained heavily last night, a lot of rain, and I guess this is just the moisture. I'm hoping it burns off, but if it rains, it rains. Way back when I started planning this trip, you know, I didn't really want to give myself any rules. I didn't want to confine myself like that. I wanted to leave things open for change and possibility and experiences. So I didn't really give myself rules about anything. And but there were a couple of things that I was adamant that I didn't want to do, and one of that is I don't want to pay for water. I think that's crazy to pay for water in Canada, and I think it's crazy to use single-use plastic bottles. Yeah, it's a bizarre turn that our society has gone in compared to what I was like when I was a kid. And another thing is I didn't want to do was pay for campgrounds. I think in a country this big, doing what I'm doing, you know, it's a different story if I'm with a camper or an RV or something, but doing what I'm doing, I think it's crazy in a country like Canada with all this space and forest and everything that I'd pay for campgrounds. But the reason I bring this up, the reason I bring it up is, you know, every once in a while you just want to have a hot shower. Bathing in the streams and the lakes is fine, but every once in a while I just want to have a hot shower and properly wash my clothes. Yeah, the stink in my socks is not going away. Doesn't matter how well I wash them. So the reason I say this is most likely when I get to Dryden, but for sure when I get to Kenora, I'm going to take a rest day and I'm going to get a campground there. You know, it's cheaper than a hotel room, and when the weather's good like this, I really don't need a television and a bed. I sleep just as comfortably in my tent, sometimes more comfortably. And I know some of my friends out there say, "Oh, Tony, you're just being cheap." Well, kinda. I'm trying to save money because I blew way too much on my winter motel budget, more than I had anticipated. But that's not just it. I mean, it's unnecessary for me, I guess. So I don't like to waste, whether it's money or time or anything, food. I don't like waste. All right, so that's where I'm going. And yeah, when I hit Dryden, I might get a campground, but for sure when I get to Kenora, I'm going to hit a campground, and I'm going to take a rest day there. So another thing I've decided to do when I hit Kenora is, you know, although my Keen boots have been fantastic, I love them. They're called Pyrenees, these kind of boots. You know, the boots are holding up really well, but my soles are starting to get a little thin, and I don't think they're going to quite make it to the coast like I had hoped. So I've written to the good folks over at Keen Shoes here in Canada and asked if they can resole them. I don't think they can, but if they can, it would be fantastic if I'm able to walk into Victoria with these same boots, because they're so perfect. They fit me so well, and they're comfortable, and you know, and they're built well. None of the seams are coming apart. They're not cracking anywhere. It's just the soles. I've worn them out. So yeah, I'm going with a lighter pair of shoes, ventilated shoes. Hopefully that's gonna keep my feet from stinking so bad. It'll lighten things up and be more comfortable through the summer, I suppose. And then we'll see what happens with my boots for the last part of the journey. So yeah, that's another change coming up in Kenora. Kenora is going to be a town of change. As you can tell, the black flies are bringing their A game now, and the mosquitoes were pretty voracious last night and this morning. So yeah, bugs are full on, which is understandable considering how much flooding and rain and snow this area has gotten last little while. So far, I'm not going crazy from them. And don't worry, I won't go crazy. I've got a bug shirt with a hood over it and everything if I need to. I'm hoping not to have to hike in that because it is warm. But I won't go crazy. You know, and speaking of, I had read stories way back when the voyageurs were exploring here. They were traveling through this part of the world. The black flies did drive some of them crazy enough that they died by suicide. So I'm sure it wasn't the flies, but they might have been the final straw. You know, it's just in this past week or so that I'm really feeling like spring is in full swing for me, for this trip anyway. The grass is green, dandelions are coming up, you know, the deciduous trees they've got that kind of really bright green when their leaves are small and fresh. Yeah, it's finally happening. Not quite my size. A little more of the wet stuff. What an excellent little lake that was. Jackfish Lake it's called. Went for a swim. It was a fantastic afternoon. Right on. Fifth one I found on me just sitting here cooking dinner. Oi. And that's number 6. And 7. That might have been my own fault for sitting in the grass earlier, but come on, that's ridiculous. I'm gonna have to check well tonight. Number 8. You know, it's bad enough have to deal with the mosquitoes, and then the black flies want to go up my nose and in my eyes, and I can deal with all of that. But these ticks, you know, the idea of have something that wants to live on you for a few days and feed on you for a few days, that's awful enough, but then add to it that they could be carrying some kind of debilitating disease. Ooh, yeah, don't like it. So my ear was itchy. I went to scratch it. Guess what it was? Another tick on my finger. I've lost count. That's probably 15 or 16 by now. Oi. Stumbled upon somebody's home brew or something. That's my Monday. It was a great day, actually. Loved the lake, loved going for a swim. The ticks were a pain in the ass, and the traffic is bad here, but it is. I'm close to Dryden. It's going to be a short walk into Dryden tomorrow, and I'm going to get a quiet campground there. So, looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting a good meal, and just chilling. I'm gonna take it easy in the afternoon because I'm probably going to be there early, like at lunchtime, I think. So, yeah. How was my day? It was good. Ticks suck. What are you gonna do? Good Tuesday morning. I had an interesting evening last night. After I'd signed off, I was just curious. It was a warm day, and I wanted to see what kind of temperature it was. I haven't looked at a weather app for, well, I deleted the weather app. So anyway, I was curious, and I looked at the weather online and realized there was a severe thunderstorm watch and a heavy rainfall warning. I thought, okay, no big deal. I'm set up already. I'm in my tent, you know, and I've got a good tent, so I'm not worried about the rain. I was in the forest, so I'm protected. And then I went to sleep, and about a half hour later I woke up from an emergency alert. It was a tornado watch, and it said take immediate cover. What do you do when you're in a tent? You take immediate cover. So anyway, I laid awake for a little while, listening to the storm and trying to listen for some severe wind, tornado coming, but nothing happened. So thankfully I pulled out of that one. I don't know, what do you do anyway, right? You just roll with it. I got a great tent, but it's not going to hold up to a tornado. So anyway, it was an interesting evening. I slept well enough, and now I'm going to head into Dryden. I'm looking forward to a big lunch. All right, let's get on with Tuesday. The sky still looks a little ominous, and if you're curious, it was 28 degrees yesterday, so it was warmer than I've had for a while, but it was pleasant. Yeah, it certainly wasn't done yet. Trees down across the power line. I'm assuming this happened last night. Yeah, this is the first I've seen of it. Hopefully it doesn't get much worse than this. All right, just made it into Dryden. It was an easy 24K walk. You know, it's just 10:30, so I made some good time. Rain hasn't let up at all. It was not raining when I tore down camp, but since then it hasn't let up. So food first, fill my belly. All right, as you can see, I'm in a motel room. That's my Tuesday. Yeah, I had intended on staying in a campground, but the rain just wouldn't let up, and I wanted to have a hot shower and do some laundry. So here I am, and I'm going to be back on the road again tomorrow. So I'm just chilling this evening. That's it. That's my Tuesday. It was a good day, but it rained all day. All right, talk to you tomorrow. When I was a young guy, Dryden was infamous for its stink. You could smell the town long before you reached here, and that was while you were in a car, and it was because of this pulp mill. And I tell you, things have improved, but it still stinks. Yeah, I can smell it here, this close. And I think actually they had a little bit of hardship, and the mill closed for a little while. I could be wrong, but I think, you know, 20 years ago or something, it closed and then reopened, and that's a good thing, because I think this is the biggest employer in the town. You know, I realized I need to learn to use better descriptors when I'm talking on YouTube here, when I'm talking to you guys, because quite often in the morning I say I'm excited for the day, and then at the end of the day I tell you nothing exciting happened. You know, and maybe excited for the day isn't a good way to describe it. I'm just looking forward to the day. I look forward to the day each time, and even on those days when I have, you know, obstacles or challenges, or I'm in a bad mood, I still have a good day. You know, my days are rarely exciting either. When I say that nothing exciting happened, I mean nothing noteworthy happened. And usually nothing noteworthy does happen, from my perspective anyway. You know, some of you might think, well, just walking down the highway for 10 hours each day is a noteworthy kind of an endeavor, but it's just each and every day to me. So yeah, I just wanted you to know that I do look forward to each and every day, even if it's going to rain, even if I have to deal with wood ticks. You know, that's a small part of the day. There's so much more to it that gives me joy and makes it all worthwhile, right? And even on those days when, most days when I have nothing noteworthy that happened and no excitement, I'm still, I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. Glad to be out on the road and experiencing all of this. You know, smiling's infectious. I smile at people as they're driving by, and invariably they always smile back. Now granted, I don't know what they're smiling about. I don't know what's going on in their head, and they certainly don't know what's going on in mine. The internal dialogue is priceless, and it's all mine. Regardless, it's a nice way to start the day with a smile. I'm sure the GoPro's picking up this wind. It is cool. First time in a very long time that I have to wear pants. And if it starts to rain, it's going to be a cold rain. I think we're probably hovering around 5-6 degrees right now. It won't break 10 today. And if it rains with this wind, it's going to be cold. And yes, it's the 1st of June. It's tempting, but I've got plenty of food. You know, yesterday when I was in the grocery store in Dryden, I noticed that they were selling Fernwood coffee beans from Victoria, BC, which is cool. It's great for the people at Fernwood. They make great coffee, roast great coffee, but someone at Dryden should start roasting. So much flooding. It's supposed to rain tomorrow and the day after is what I was told back in Dryden. I think the Trans-Canada might be underwater tomorrow, if that's the case. right, that's my Wednesday. Another sweet campsite here. The highway's just on the other side of this gravelly berm, but it's great. I didn't have to walk in far, maybe 50-75 meters, but it's quiet. It's blocking the noise from the traffic, and I'm private here. I'm not going to be bothered, and it was a good day. It was a good day. Lots and lots of wind. You probably picked up on that with all the noise, the wind noise in the camera here. And the flooding that I showed you, it's a shame because I think we're supposed to get rain for the next couple of days, and a lot of places are going to be flooded pretty badly. Right now there are a lot of highways that are closed because of the flooding. People are isolated. They're trapped in their towns north of here. So let's keep our fingers crossed that it gets some warm weather and things can dry up a little bit. The ground is so saturated that it just can't soak in. Anyway, I'm babbling. It was a good day. Yeah, uneventful, but it was fine. It was lovely. I enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward to sleep right now, actually, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well. So, all right, talk to you in the morning. Good morning, world. It's oh gee, I don't know what day it is today, but it's morning, and I'm all turned down here. Took the camp down already. I'm just gonna make a little bit of oats here while it's calm and not windy and no rain or anything like that. So, and in just a few kilometers, I'll be in Vermilion Bay, so I might even get a second breakfast, which would be sweet. Yeah, but welcome to another day. Certainly can't complain about that camp location. And I don't know, it wasn't unnerving really. It just woke me and startled me. It was a pack of coyotes last night. They were close and they were loud. All right, let's get walking. So a van with some young women just drove by, and one of the girls stuck her head out the window and shouted out, "Woohoo, Papa!" I'm sure she was just meaning I was old. I do get called Papa, or people refer to me, you know, they tell me that I look a little like Ernest Hemingway. I don't know, it's just probably the white beard. It's flattering, I guess. He was a talented man. I wish I had just a fraction of his writing talent, and you know, other than that, I don't know if there's any similarities between us, the beard, and yeah, but I do get that once in a while. I get Papa. That's okay, you can call me Papa. You know, and way back in the wintertime, I had somebody that shouted out Zizou to me. So if you're a Wes Anderson fan, you know, you'll know The Life Aquatic. I don't look anything like Bill Murray, but I got a red toque and a white beard, so yeah, Zizou, I guess. Sadly, no second breakfast for Tony today. There was nothing open in Vermilion Bay, but I did get a coffee, and it was fresh at a truck stop. It was actually good for a change. So, unfortunately, it's not going to be a warm, sunny day. Strong winds again, obviously, and it's cool. Just past the gas station, it said 7 degrees here, so it's yeah, it's not pleasant. But I've got 3 days into Kenora. I'll be there Saturday night, and I'm taking Sunday off. Picking up my parcels on Monday morning, and then I'll head out. But I am really hoping for a sunny day and a patio, a big old salad, and a cold glass of beer. And I did figure it out. It's Thursday today. You know, if it wasn't for this these weekly video updates that I do, I probably wouldn't know what day of the week it is. And if it wasn't for writing in my blog every day, I wouldn't know what date it is, month, whatever. I wouldn't know any of that kind of stuff. Every day is a Saturday for me. I was getting a little frustrated a while back there, and I shouted at Mother Nature. I said, okay, that's enough, take a break. To which she promptly replied, you're not the boss of me, Tony. She dumped on me. So I'm not talking to her anymore today. She's mean. Okay, she stopped pouring rain on me, but we're still not talking. She's mean. All right, I'm all tucked in my tent. That's my Thursday. I got a nice little camp here. It's on a thick bed of moss, solid granite underneath, unfortunately, and still raining. It rained off and on all day, mostly on. So Mother Nature and I were not getting along today. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, it was not a great day, but I covered a lot of ground because there's no point in resting and unable to cook, all that kind of stuff because of the rain and the wind. Anyway, I won't complain too much. I got some good ground coverage, and I'm tucked in a nice little place here, so we'll call it a night. I'll talk to you in the morning. Good Friday morning. The birds woke me so gently this morning. It was beautiful. I'm not mad at Mother Nature anymore. I mean, how do you stay mad at her when she does something so beautiful like that, right? Anyway, it's early. I think I'm around 5 o'clock, but I slept like a baby, and it was beautiful on this bed of deep moss here. The sun's coming up. I know it's probably going to rain again today, but I'll roll with it. It's a beautiful way to start the day anyway. Yeah, let's get on with today. You know, there was, pardon me, there was frost on the tent again this morning, a little bit on the moss, and I'm wearing my gloves again. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold, but the sky is clear, so hopefully it's going to be a sunshiny day, and maybe we'll get up into the double digits today. Whew, not a pleasant day at all today. It's cold. Really not a whole lot to say today. It's cold, windy. It's noon and I'm still wearing my gloves and long underwear. Thankfully the sun came out and it stopped raining. But yeah, that's one of those days. I just need to remember my mantra. This too shall pass. Yeah, the cold is gone. It's warmed up a bit. You know, after 3 o'clock I was able to take my jacket and sweater off. No more long johns. And the wind hasn't died, but I was able to cook some dinner, so that's bonus. And I'm going to walk a couple, 2-3 more hours, and I'll be real close to Kenora. So things are better. All right, that's my Friday. I'm going to keep this brief because the sun came out and so did the black flies. Yeah, it was an all right day. It wasn't great, but it's done. And I got a short one into Kenora tomorrow, so I should be there for a late breakfast. All right, talk to you in the morning. All right, good morning, good Saturday morning. I just packed up camp here. It's cold, but not as cold as yesterday. I'm gonna head into town. I should be there in a few hours. It sure is pretty in this part of Ontario, but I think it often gets overlooked because it's so far away from the big population, right? And we're real close to Manitoba, so I'm sure there are more people from Winnipeg that are enjoying this area and from the US than, than from Southern Ontario. So every once in a while you'll notice my camp, like last night, it's close to the highway, but believe it or not, it's an ideal location. It's great. So you can imagine I'm on top of a rock blast, an outcrop like this. So it's easy for me to get there. I can usually find clearing and a level spot, whereas if I have to go deeper into the forest, it's really tough sometimes to find a level spot and to find some clearing where there's not too much underbrush. And when I'm up on top of these, even though I'm close to the highway, as you get down into the tent, a lot of the sound is blocked by the rock, and at the same time I'm invisible to anybody driving down here. You know, I'm close by to the highway, so it's easy access, but really it's a good easy campsite location. You know, when it comes to all this road noise, you do get used to it. It's not pleasant, but it's surprising how far the noise can carry sometimes. You know, I can be a kilometer away and the trucks and Harleys and that sort of thing, they sound like they're right next to me. Yeah, it's loud. And a lot of it is just has to be the right favorable conditions for the noise. You know, if you've got enough hills and mountains or whatever to block the noise, and it works really well. Yeah, I remember backpacking in the Rockies one time, and I was 28 kilometers from the nearest train track and 30 from the highway. But just so happened that I went down a valley and I was camped right at the top of the pass, and all of the noise kind of funneled down. I was woken by the train in the middle of the night, and it was 28 kilometers away. Whereas sometimes, you know, if you're camping deep in the forest and there's enough coverage and maybe a berm or a hill or something in the way, you don't hear the traffic at all. But that's part of our modern life, I guess. We hear the trains and the airplanes and the trucks and the motorcycles, and you hear it all. It is what it is. You know, it's kind of too bad you don't have smell-o-vision, because when the sun hits the forest first thing in the morning, especially after a frost or a dew or something like that, it smells so delicious. Okay, maybe it is a good thing you don't have any smell-o-vision, because this is where I'd lose most of you. But I just wanted to show you quickly before I pick up my new shoes how these boots have held up. You can see the leather's doing really well, no cracks. You know, nothing separated on the soles. They held up really well. I'm impressed, and I really honestly thought I was going to be able to take them all the way to Victoria, but you can see how thin I've worn them on the bottom, and I've actually blown through the heel here. So yeah, this is the left boot, and this is from walking the left side of the highway. Downward slope, which has amplified things because now the downward slope is that much worse. And on the right boot, not quite as bad, but she's pretty thin. I've gone through a hole there, so it was time. And just to give you a rough idea, I've probably got about between 3,500 and 4,000 kilometers on these boots. I just bought them last spring, but I've put on a lot of kilometers, so that's what's happened with them. And unfortunately, the good people down at Keen said they couldn't resold them, but they were kind enough to offer me a new pair of boots. So I've got some new boots and I'm going to be walking into Victoria with, and I'll be picking those up in the Rockies probably. Mike's going to hold on to them for me. So yeah, that's the old boots. I'll show you the new ones when I get them. You know, originally when I left Thunder Bay, I'd estimated that I was going to get into Kenora on Tuesday morning afternoon, and here it is. I'm going to get in Saturday morning. In fact, I'll be there before 10 o'clock, so I'll be having breakfast, and which is great because then I've got all day today to pick up my packages and go to a campground, chill, get a good meal, and then tomorrow's just a relaxed day. I'm going to chill, do nothing. And new. All right, there's my camp for the next couple of nights. I'm staying in Kenora. I'm taking a rest day, and you can see it's a campground. Enjoying it here. It's good. The weather finally smartened up a little bit, and yeah, that's my week. I'm gonna head into town shortly. Well, kind of, and have a good dinner tonight. I was already at the craft brewery. I had a fantastic breakfast this morning, and yeah, my week was good. I was grumpy a little bit, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But I'm better now. That's all that counts. It was short-lived, and I'm feeling good. I got some new shoes. Life is good. That's all it is. Yeah, so thanks for following along. Next week I'm going to be walking into Winnipeg. Yeah, I should be there in a week or so. A couple of days I'll be out of Ontario and into Manitoba, and yeah, 3 weeks or so I should be at my sister's house in Saskatchewan. 3-4 weeks, somewhere in there. Things are flying along. I'm going quicker than I had anticipated, but things are good. I'm feeling good. Life's good. It's all good. All right. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. Join along, follow me, and I'll see you again next week.